Hello, listener, and welcome to Book 4, Chapter 18 of Bite-Sized Tales, the audio flash fiction podcast. In today's chapter, we continue with the penultimate chapter of the Direwald Diaries, The Maevis Matter, Part 6, written and read by Chris Hussey. In our previous entry, Maevis and Eli met with the enigmatic and mysterious Kay. Just the letter, not the full name. Eli pleaded with Kay to keep the young Maevis hidden in Kay's brothel, but in an unexpected twist, Kay refused, instead telling Eli that Kay needs to bring the girl home to her mother, who is suspected of being able to transform into a beast known as a Botiskin, a beast that may have bitten young Maevis. Now the gunslinger faces a tough decision. Does he go and face the threat of what Maevis's mother may be, or does he find a different solution? Eli parted the final canvas flap as he and Maevis left Kay's den of carnal delights. He shook his head in frustration and anger. "Well, Yunker, I guess it's time to take you home." Maevis gripped Eli's hand tighter. "I don't think that's a good idea." "I don't really care what you think," Eli spoke, his voice laced with growing resignation. "Kay's right. If your mama's a beast, she's going to finish what she started. And if we're at your house when that happens, then a lot of innocent people won't die. Just me, probably." Maevis was silent for at least a block before responding. "You don't think you can kill her?" Eli sighed as they rounded a corner and marched up the hill toward the gilded lane. The sun seemed to be rapidly dropping in the west, the black hills on the horizon eagerly awaiting to consume their daily meal of orange and yellow, and bringing night to Direwald. Eli unholstered his revolver and reached toward the back of his gun belt, while the pair continued their upwards trek. His voice took on a tone of caution and weariness. "I don't know, Maevis, but I reckon I have to try. If I don't, and she is," he paused, "well, I don't want to think about that. But," his voice brightened slightly, "if she's not, well, I guess I get to look like the hero for bringing a little lost girl home, and then maybe have a nice meal with a widow." Maevis looked down at the worn and muddy path they took up the hill. Boot prints mixed with hooves and other prints she couldn't recognize filled the trail. She began to feel worry fill her veins. "My mother only has visitors when she throws parties." "A lonely widow, then. Even better," Eli joked as he emptied his revolver and replaced the bullets. "What are you doing? Why are you putting different bullets in your gun?" Eli loaded the last one, spun the cylinder to assure himself everything was in order, then reholstered the weapon. "Those are silver rounds. I had them blessed by a priest of one of the lords, as well as a native medicine bearer." Eli shrugged. "That was a while ago, though. Not sure if those blessings stuck around or not. I hope they don't leave because of bad behavior." "Because they would have left a long time ago." Eli nodded. "Yes'm." "Do you have any other silver?" Maevis asked, both with a curious and concerned tone. Eli knelt down and patted his left boot. "Silver dagger." "Did it get blessed?" Eli shook his head. "No, even if it had been, those blessings would have left an even longer time ago. It's like the 9 hells inside my boots." He gave a chuckle. Maevis echoed his laugh, causing both of them to giggle even harder. The pair exchanged glances and then shared a smile. They held it for a moment, then Maevis dropped her smile. Her eyes showed sudden fear. "Please don't let my mother kill me." Eli gave her shoulder a gentle and reassuring squeeze. "Don't worry, Yunker. I'll keep you safe." He followed it up with a wink. The pair ascended the last of the incline toward the large Italianate-style home that Maevis said was her house. It sat stout and strong on the stones making up the foundation, keeping the wooden framework from touching the ground. Eli couldn't quite tell in the fading light, but it almost appeared as if runes or other symbols were painted or engraved into the stones. He knew it could just be tricks of the light and shadow, but it only made him more nervous. lit lamp posts gave clear indication as to the path toward the front door, but Eli guided Maevis in a different direction, while still pushing toward the entrance. "Why are we doing this?" Maevis asked as she marched forward. "Consider it my paranoia," Eli answered in hushed tones. "But Mother will know we are here when the door is opened." "Yes, but if she is, as you say, Yonker, she might have other surprises waiting for us if she sees us coming. If we just show up, those surprises won't be ready." Maevis only nodded as the pair continued to wind their way through the shadows and dark spaces created by the hedges, bushes, and the gazebo preceding the door. As the pair reached the front steps, Eli looked once more at his young employer. "You ready for this?" Maevis swallowed hard, then nodded. Eli smiled and nodded back. "I really do hope you are wrong, child." "I hope I am too," Maevis answered back. "Well, even if you are, you saved me from a day of drinking and losing money at cards." "You shouldn't drink during the day. Mother says it's a sign of a troubled mind." Eli chuckled. "Your mama doesn't know how right she is." The gunslinger inwardly assessed himself, making sure all his weapons were where they needed to be. Placing a hand on Maevis's shoulder to keep her still, he stepped up onto the porch and knocked on the door. For a moment there was silence, broken only by the distant boom of thunder from an approaching storm, the clouds making quick work of the final straining rays of sunlight, swallowing them whole. "Maybe she's not home," Maevis spoke, her voice trembling. "Stop that, Yonker," Eli scolded. The muffled clip-clop of shoes on wood, broken only by the further muffling of the same on rugs, approached the door. Eli glanced back at Maevis, who was clinging to the railing of the landing for security. Making no reaction, the gunslinger turned back toward the door. With a click, it opened, bathing him in yellow light. Author's note. So this portion of the story actually is, this portion and of course the last chapter are the most recently written portions of this. Parts 1 through 5 were actually written several years ago, really, and sort of sat in, your own author's personal slush pile as it is. And so it was interesting as I was reading through parts 1 through 5 and making edits and kind of correcting things, having to go and dive back in and write brand new parts and still trying to retain that voice and that same feel proved to be a little bit of a challenge. So if you do happen to notice a bit of a tonal shift of sorts between these last two parts and what preceded it, that's the reason why. But we're about to find out what happens to them in the next chapter. So thanks for listening. This chapter of Bite-Sized Tales has been brought to you under a Creative Commons Attribution, Non-Commercial, No Derivatives 4.0 International License. Intro and outro music is Fantasy Motion by Alexander Nakarada, provided under a Creative Commons 4.0 license. If you've enjoyed what you've heard today, we greatly appreciate reviews and recommendations to your friends. For more information about our authors, visit bitesizedtales.com or follow us on Instagram at bite_size_tales. We look forward to reading to you next time.